Here we are. Big shout out to driver Aggie, he's properly stopped for you there. There we are. Right, keep your cameras out, keep your cameras out. If you've taken it as a portrait, you know what I mean? Now you're going to take it as a landscape. Left hand side again, folks. We're going to come on to the bridge. Left. Here we are. Now to your left hand side is the city of Westminster. It's where royal power, it's where political power has been based for the last 1,000 years. Then look to your right, spin, right hand side. And to your right hand side is the older city of London, where London began. It's 2,000 years. Most of London is exclusively on your right, and Westminster was on your left. These used to be different places. Oh no, the building to your right. Oh no, until very recently for British people this was a dark place. An evil place. True human misery and suffering has come out of here. So 2 years ago, this was the tax office. My crystal board, you might also remember it when it was the office for births, deaths and marriages. Somerset House. Say Pratcham, Matcham and Dispatcham, Somerset House. Alright, it is now. It's maybe a little bit early for Covent Garden. It would be good for lunch, but the area directly ahead of you is all Covent Garden. Now it's famous for its covered market, but to get to that there's a few pedestrianised streets that lead there, so you can't drive our bus directly into the core. If you want to go to the covered market, either you hop off at the next stop, you'll be 2 streets away, give you good directions, you won't get lost in your ducky. Or, when we get to Leicester Square in just over an hour's time, you're 2 streets away going this way. The whole area is definitely now on your left though. On your left, where lighting is showing, Bram Stoker, who wrote Dracula, and he used to work at the Lyceum Theatre as a manager. So this is our Aldwych / Covent Garden stop. And away we go. Now, if you're on different buses for the yellow routes, you've got guides on all the buses for the yellow there should be today. And we all do our tours in completely different styles. So I think I probably want the most talkative out of all of them. I imagine. But that last bit of the tour is nothing. Absolutely nothing. The next part I'm going to go to the left, the right, 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 the left, the right. We're going to do some extreme sightseeing together. So stretch your necks, prepare yourselves. Extreme sightseeing begins. Here we go. So these buildings on your left is the LSE, London School of Economics, it's Leeds University in Jack and Wentworth. Right hand side, Australia House, the Australian High Commission. The second Harry Potter film, Australia House was Glendock's Bank, the Wizarding Bank was built in Surrey. The next church we're going to pass is going to come up on your right in a second. Oranges and lemons for the bells of St. Clement's. This is St. Clement Danes Church now on your right. Keep your eyes to the right, pockmarks on the glyphs on the walls. Left hand side, the Royal Courts of Justice, highest civil court in the land. 19th century neo-Gothic construction. Ahead to your right, tiny little white shop. That's Twining's Tea, that's where they began. See how small it is compared to its neighbours. Twinings has been selling their tea there since 1706. Same family, selling the same thing in the same place for the longest amount of time in the whole wide world. But ahead of us is a post with a dragon on the top. Now this is known as the Monument to Temple Bar. Temple Bar would have been a medieval gateway that had to be moved because you couldn't get horses and carriages through it in the Victorian era. So this is its replacement. Now we're going to look out for these dragons on our journey this morning, because they guard the old city of London. Like any good guard dog, they look away from what they're guarding. So we're now in Westminster. We're on a street called the Strand. It's an old Germanic word meaning beach. Other side of the post, though, is going to be the city of London. Same bit of road, but it will be in a completely different place. So it's got a different name. So we're going to say goodbye to the Strand and hello to Fleet Street. Here we are. And if the Queen was with us, we would have to stop at the post, and only when the Lord Mayor of the City of London came out from the Mansion House to greet her, only then can we continue. I'll explain more about that a little bit later. Alright, now black and white building ahead to the right. This survived the Blitz and the Great Fire of London. Gives us an idea of what Tudors our fourth, might even be our fifth in that time. The majority of them burned to the ground. Now the dome is coming into view, as are the golden pineapples. If you look up ahead, there are two towers at the front of St. Paul's Cathedral, and each one has got a golden pineapple on the top. They're stone, they're covered in real gold, but if you're going back to the 17th century, an actual pineapple would be worth in the region of £5,000. £5 grand. Pounds now, £5 grand then. Tell you what was cheap in those days, oysters. The oyster was the kebab on your way home, if you will, in the 17th century. Right, anyway, here's our stop for St. Paul's. And it was here, in 1981, that Prince Charles married Princess Diana. 50 years ago, Sir Winston Churchill had his funeral here. And 2 years ago was Margaret Thatcher's funeral. We think of St. Paul's as the People's Church, as instead of the Royal Church is Westminster. But St. Paul's has got a larger capacity, the Abbey. That's why Charles and Diana had their one in. Oh, hello, there's some sort of event going on. There's two rather fancy looking cars parked outside the front. Something's going on. They are very similar to the type of cars that the royal family drive around there. We're going to have a little look. Some importance. Similarly, they're inside St. Paul's Cathedral, so as they come out of this exact moment, there's a little flag. Yeah, there's little flags on the cars. Anyone good at flags? Anyone? What sort of flags are they? Are they English flags, or it might be? And that could well have been the Lord Mayor of the City of London. The little flags, I think it might have been for the Corporation of London. I think so. So something's going on. Now St. Paul's Cathedral. To build this after the previous one burned down the Great Fire of London, we siphoned money away from Westminster Abbey. That's right. Patron saint of Westminster is St. Peter. We were robbing Peter to pay it forward. Now the dome has actually got 3 of them. You can only see one from the outside. The big one would collapse in on itself within about 3 hours. It can't take its own weight. Sitting inside that one, though, is kind of a pointy end of an egg, if you will. That takes away, it's a lot stronger. And inside that one, another internal dome. If you do pay to go into St. Paul's, you can climb to the top of the big dome. Let's see if there's anyone up there. If there's a service going on, I imagine not, but no, but you come into views of the Golden Gallery above the main dome. So if you're going to do St. Paul's, I don't know, later today or tomorrow, think of it as you get the history, but you get the views as well. So it's like going into Westminster Abbey, but it comes with a ticket for the London Eye, if you will. So right, now the back section. Now this was bombed in the Second World War, so rebuilt. But since then, we've had what's known as the American Chapel inside. It's dedicated to the 28,000 American servicemen stationed here in the Second World War. If you're wondering what that is ahead to your right, so always truly ancient. It's about 10 years old and it's a water fountain. Some fine views of St. Paul's behind us, and after the sermon, it really is. To show you how prolific Sir Christopher Wren was, you see the spire to your left, that's a part of the Wren Church as well. But you notice there's no church, it's just the spire with a more modern building attached to it. And the reason being, of course, if you're dropping bombs out of a plane, because we're talking about the Blitz, it's very easy to hit a church, quite hard to hit a steeple. So you will find these little shards of churches, if you will. I don't know if you'll say it's spoiling the historic effect, it's just by the tower, the actual, if you go up, you've got TV out there. Right, and let me explain a little bit about the City of London, because I might confuse a few of you. Now, London is a city. 8.5 million people live in London. But where we are now, guarded by the dragon, only a little bit larger than where the original Roman city would be, is the City of London, the original historic one. In 1215, we were almost at the point of civil war, but the king at the time, King John, agreed to the Magna Carta. He was claiming some rights back from him by having things like, well, a jury, for example, if you get problems with the law. But included in the Magna Carta was the City of London getting its independence. So that's the reason, still to this day, the Queen has got to ask permission to enter. And as London expanded from here, it eventually became Greater London, swallowing up Westminster, and Southwark, and Kensington, and King's Cross, and all these other places. But the City of London kept its boundaries and its borders. So when I said of St. Paul's, maybe the Lord Mayor of the City of London could be there. That's not the Mayor of London. The City of London is independent, it's completely different. There's a completely different police force where we are now. I'll tell you the main thing that happens here though, everything's got something to do with money. Particularly for my British people on board, we think of the City of London, we think of bankers, international finance. Generally, everyone here either works in finance or they work in some area which caters for the bankers. Be it a little restaurant or a little cafe or one of the many pubs down in the weird little old alleyways we have. Building the new London headquarters of Bloomberg on the right-hand side is a financial institution. In fact, more international trading, banking and finance happens in the City of London than in any other one city in the world, even more so than New York or Washington. To give you an idea of what medieval London would have been like, the next street round the corner on your left is called Poultry. Quite simply, Poultry is where you bought your poultry. Milk Street is where you bought your milk, Bread Street is where you bought your bread. Think of them as aisles of a medieval supermarket, if you will. And if you were cold at night, we had Love Lane to be able to buy something to help you out. You know what I mean. Let's see if I hope I can get this under the radar. You've got to read between the lines. If you know what actually happened on Love Lane, and if you can think of a more descriptive and graphic term for that, using really bad anatomical words, then we have a street with that. But then we changed a couple of letters. Most English medieval cities will have streets with not that word, the worst word, the one that's worse than that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, so if you see a street where you go, oh, if you change a letter, that's a rude word, well, that's what's happened. Alright, now we're head to your right. The building with the blue bars at the bottom, that's the Mansion House. So that's the official residence for the Lord Mayors of the City of London. The Lord Mayors of the City of London. You're Lord Mayor generally for a year, and your job is to represent the interests of the financial industry, clearly.